What's up guys, Chigz here from Chigz Tech Reviews. So today I bring you another ultimate head-to-head showdown between two brand new budget mid-ranges. So we have Xiaomi's Redmi Note 10 Pro versus the Realme 8 Pro. So this is another extreme head-to-head comparison, and in this video we will be sharing everything from the design, build quality, screen quality, processing power, and the list goes on. Now by the end of it, this video will let you know which phone is in fact better and why. So first of all, the prices. The Xiaomi Redmi Note 10 Pro's price has already been announced, so it's priced $279 and $199 in the UK. Now the Realme 8 Pro's price has not yet been disclosed, but if I had to guess, I think it will be in a similar price bracket, but in fact it actually might be slightly cheaper. So we are once again going to do this comparison football match style just for fun. And I actually have no idea who is going to win when I start these comparisons. It's not until I get to the end of the video, so it's just as much of a surprise for me as it is for you. So let's get started with round one, the first category, which is boxes and accessories. So both smartphones come with the same accessories in the box. So you're getting your user manuals, USB-A to USB-C cables, SIM eject tools, clear silicone case each. The Redmi Note's is clear and slightly frosted, and the Realme's clear case has a darker tint. They both also come with fast chargers. So the Redmi Note has a 33 watt fast charger, and the Realme 8 Pro has a 65 watt Super Dart fast charger. And of course, the smartphones themselves. So it looks like both devices come with exactly the same accessories. So that is a point each for the first round. So current scores 1-1. So next up we are talking about design and build quality. And here they both are in my hands, the brand new budget mid-ranges from both companies. So beginning with the Redmi Note 10 Pro, it's made from a metal frame going all the way around, and you have a glass back, Gorilla Glass 5 front and back. Now the color is called Onyx Black, and it has this two-tone grayish dark gray going on. And we also have an interesting camera bump design with silver border. The phone is for sure premium build, but it is a fingerprint magnet. Now the Realme 8 Pro also has a metal frame going all the way around, but the back is made from plastic. The camera bump is a pretty standard design, nothing special going on there. And you do have the words "Dare to Leap" engraved on the back. And the phone has a smooth plastic finish. The color is called Infinite Black. And again, in the light, it's more like a dark crushed silver / black color. So it is quite an interesting color. And also it will not pick up any fingerprints at all. Now both smartphones are slim. They are both in fact 8.1 millimeters in thickness and feel very light. The Redmi Note 10 Pro weighs 193 grams and the Realme 8 Pro weighs 176 grams. So we are in fact talking about design and build quality. The Redmi Note definitely feels more premium in build. It actually feels and looks like an expensive flagship smartphone with that glass back, innovative camera bump design, and it also has an IP53 splash proof rating. And in comparison, the Realme 8 Pro feels very light and plasticky. Also, the back design with the Dare to Leap is definitely not going to be everyone's cup of tea. So very budget feel coming from the Realme, but at the same time it does feel good in terms of slim and lightness of the smartphone. So design and build quality definitely goes to the Redmi Note 10 Pro. So Redmi's striker takes a shot on goal and scores first time, taking the lead and bringing our score to 2-1. Now the next category we're going to be talking about is screen quality. The Redmi Note 10 Pro has a 6.67 inch Super AMOLED display with 120 Hz refresh rate, and the Realme 8 Pro has a 6.4 inch Super AMOLED display with a 60 Hz refresh rate. Both phones will give you Full HD Plus resolution of 2400 by 1080. and the Redmi Note 10 Pro will give you Gorilla Glass 5, and I believe the Realme also has Gorilla Glass, but no idea which version as it is not stated on my given spec list. So we should find out the version during the launch. Now if we talk about brightness, the Redmi Note 10 Pro has a peak brightness of 1200 nits, and the Realme 8 Pro has a peak brightness of 1000 nits. Now, both displays do look impressive in practical use. Nice bright displays with great colors and contrast. Now the Realme 8 Pro actually has an in-display fingerprint sensor, and you can see that it works absolutely fine. I've got no issues with the in-display fingerprint sensor, and the Redmi Note 10 Pro has its fingerprint sensor built into the power button, so just tap it and you're in. Super fast fingerprint sensors on both. Now both smartphones offer a full screen display with hole punch cameras. The Redmi Note's hole punch camera is centered and the Realme has it on the far left corner. So they're both 16 megapixel selfie cameras, and both phones do also support face unlock pretty well. Okay, and I do want to quickly test out the brightness. So that's maximum brightness. I'm going to put them both halfway. So that's halfway brightness, and I'm going to switch it all the way down as well. Okay, so that's the brightness turned all the way down. I have to turn off my studio lights so you can see that in effect. So the brightness does seem very similar. And here is a quick example of the outdoor screen brightness. So brightness is set to max, we are outdoors, sun is out, and you can see both screens look equally good. So we have the same screen tech, nice displays, but we can't ignore the fact that the Redmi 10 Pro has a 120Hz refresh, and it does make things look nicer and smoother in operation. And both smartphones also have Google Widevine Level 1 certification, so that means you will get HD streaming on services like Netflix. So it looks like the screen quality category also goes to the Redmi Note 10 Pro. Having a better refresh rate and slightly bigger display is always going to be a positive or advantage over the competition. After the third round, screen quality, the current score is 3-1. So next up, we are going to talk about the processing power. Both smartphones are powered by an 8nm Snapdragon chipset. The Redmi Note 10 Pro has the 732G clocked at 2.3 GHz, and the Redmi Note 8 Pro has the 720G also clocked at 2.3 GHz. Now this Redmi Note here has 6 gigs of RAM with 128 gigs of internal storage, but you can also pick this up in an 8 plus 128 variant, and there is also a slightly cheaper 6 plus 64 gig variant available to buy. And on the other hand, this Realme 8 Pro has 8 gigs of RAM with 128 storage. Now you can also pick this up in 6 or 8 gig options, and the only storage option you have is standard 128. So both phones have mid-range Snapdragon chipsets and can play Call of Duty Mobile on very high graphic settings on both phones, and the gameplay is also equally good on both. So who gets the point for processing power? Well, we're going to have to turn to the benchmarks for this one, as it's quite a close call. We're getting the same performance from the 8nm chipsets. So let's see what the benchmarks can tell us. So here are the Antutu benchmark results for both. So the Redmi Note 10 Pro achieves 295K, and the Realme 8 Pro achieved 287K. So the Redmi Note achieved a better score in nearly every single category. So it looks like processing power goes to the Redmi Note 10 Pro. Redmi's striker bangs another one in the back of the net, bringing our score to 4-1, people. I am quite surprised with the results thus far. I can't wait to see how this progresses. Next up, we've got sustaining real-time performance. So the more you use a device, the temperature gradually increases, affecting the performance. So to test this out, I ran 3 back-to-back Antutu benchmark tests on each device, and also checking the system temperatures after every test to see if it can sustain its performance and not overheat when being pushed. So here are the results for both devices. So it looks like the Redmi Note 10 Pro achieved better results in all three tests. The temperatures also remained at 38 degrees on both devices before and after every single test. So that means real-time performance on both smartphones are equally good, with no overheating and minimal drops in performance. So both phones performed equally well in sustaining real-time performance tests without overheating. So that means both deserve a point each, bringing our score to 5-2. Now let's check out the internal disk speeds. We have the same sized 128 gig internal storage in both smartphones, but the Redmi Note 10 Pro supports UFS 2.2 and the Realme 8 Pro supports UFS 2.1. So this should be an interesting test to see which phone uses the faster internal storage. And here are the results. So the Redmi Note achieved 559 megabytes per second read and write speeds of 266 megabytes per second. The Realme 8 Pro achieved 514 for read speeds and achieved write speeds of 216 megabytes per second. So effectively we are getting 500 read and 200 write on both devices, and higher the results, the better the performance of the internal storage. So fast internal storage really means that you can transfer files to and from the device much quicker, and it also gives a boost to the device when opening, closing, and also installing and downloading stuff. So real-time disk speed performance is more or less the same on both devices. You are not going to feel the difference from one or the other. It's going to be a very similar, if not same, performance. So I guess that is a point each again, bringing our score to 6-3. It just seems like the Redmi Note 10 Pro is well ahead of the Realme, and Realme is playing catch up. Let's see if Realme can indeed catch up. The next category is System OS. Now the Redmi Note is running Android 11 with MIUI 12 on top, and the Realme Pro is also running Android 11 with Realme UI 2.0 on top. Now this is the first Realme smartphone to come pre-installed with the Realme UI 2.0 straight out of the box. Now I've been using both extensively. Both smartphones have come a long way. They are both smooth in operation. MIUI has a number of visual improvements such as new dark mode, privacy and security, new animations, new wallpapers. The app drawer is finally here. You also have an iOS style control center. You've got floating windows and lots more. So lots to discover and enjoy from MIUI 12. Realme UI 2 also brings some great features to the table. We're talking about improved system performance. You have over 100 different customizable options. The UI actually feels like an open launcher. You will be surprised to how many options you have to customize, including icons, colors, transitions, wallpapers. You've got dark mode, improved privacy and security. You've got better efficiency than the past Realme UIs, and lots more. So both OSs have a lot to offer. Realme has a lot more customization options. Like I said, it feels like an open launcher. So you can drastically change around everything on this, including the icon shape, shade, text, everything. So lots of customization options. Both have a lot to offer and both are going in the right direction. Both have minimized their bloatware, giving you a great overall UI experience. Choosing one over the other is subjective. Now I actually like both OSs equally. Neither stand out from each other. Yes, you have more customization options here in the Realme UI 2.0, but you could do exactly the same thing if you downloaded Nova Launcher on the Redmi. So both OSs do good things and they are both going in the right direction. So it's only fair to give them a point each for the OSs, bringing our score to 7-4. Now coming to the cameras. Now both phones have quad cameras and feature 108 megapixel primary sensors. The Redmi Note 10 Pro's main 108 megapixel sensor is by Samsung and it's the HM2 sensor. It also has an 8 megapixel ultra wide, 2 megapixel depth and 5 megapixel macro. The Realme 8 Pro has the same 108 megapixel primary Samsung HM2 sensor with an 8 megapixel ultra wide, 2 megapixel macro and 2 megapixel black and white lens. Now both phones have a whole host of camera features, including the ability to shoot 4K video at 30 frames per second. So on paper they both sound pretty good, but which one produces better results? So first up, some 108 megapixel shots, so both shooting in a resolution of 12,000 by 9,000. So side by side you can see similar results, but Realme's image processing sharpens and increases that contrast slightly, giving you subjectively a better looking photo. Now the Redmi Note also shoots a pretty decent looking detailed 108 megapixel photo, but it will give you a more natural looking result. This is again subjective. Me personally, I am steering towards Realme's extra contrast. Now let's also test out a few bin shots in standard photo mode, because that is usually the most common mode to select when taking photos. So side by side again, Realme's photos looking more sharp, detailed and slightly more colorful. I'm usually a fan of the natural look. On this occasion, I'm actually liking what Realme have dropped. The extra contrast is bringing out more color and detail, and it does look a lot better for photos. That's my opinion. I don't expect everyone to feel the same, as it is quite subjective, but ultimately you can take some great looking photos on both cameras. Now let's test out the video quality. Both phones can shoot up to 4K at 30 frames per second, and it seems like electronic image stabilization is not that smooth on both devices. Both videos do look a little shaky. Now this time I'm not liking the result of the Redmi. It's making the day look so bright and sunny, it's very unnatural. In the photos it was less subtle, but in the video it's over exaggerated. It looks like I'm taking this video in two different seasons. So I'm preferring the video quality on the Redmi Note 10 Pro, although realistically both smartphones are not that good in shooting 4K 30. It's just not as smooth as you would like it to be, but the actual video quality and detail is not bad. And finally, front camera selfies. Both phones have 16 megapixel front cameras, and straight away I'm preferring the results on the Realme. They look more natural, but also better detail and handling of that dynamic range. Now portrait mode is good on both. Redmi Note does a better overall job. You can see that the Realme messes up the fur on the right side of my jacket. So you've got better edge detection in the Redmi Note 10 Pro. So to sum up this round for the camera and to choose an appropriate winner, we need to quickly analyze the 5 camera tests we just did. So 108 megapixel photos, I liked the Realme. Standard binned shot photos, Realme. 4K video quality, Redmi Note. Selfie shots, Realme, and portrait shots, Redmi Note. So that's 3 out of 5 for Realme, making them the winner of this main camera test. Now I know there are so many other features we could compare to get a more definitive winner. Both have many advanced modes to play with, including AI, HDR, night modes, starry modes, and lots more. But I just wanted to test the main, most commonly used sensors. So standard photos, I wanted to see the 108 results, 4K video, selfie, and portraits. So it looks like Realme 8 Pro is taking the win for the camera department, bringing our score to 7.5. Now both smartphones have Bluetooth version 5. The Redmi Note 10 Pro has Bluetooth 5.1 versus 5.0 in the Realme 8 Pro. Both phones have dual band Wi-Fi 5 and support dual SIM 4G LTE. So no 5G in either smartphone, but you also get a dedicated micro SD card slot. Now both phones come with built-in NFC, and you have a 3.5mm audio jack in both. And Redmi Note 10 Pro has the audio jack at the top, and the Realme 8 Pro has it at the bottom. Now, next category is the sounds. The Redmi Note 10 Pro has dual speakers supporting high-res audio. So one speaker at the bottom and one speaker at the top. And the Realme 8 Pro has just a single loudspeaker at the bottom, but it also supports high-res audio. So let's do a very quick sound test. So both devices will give you a pretty decent sound. Of course, the dual speakers sounds a lot better and more immersive. But the Realme speakers are also not bad. It's only a single speaker, but it is still loud and clear. So the winner of this round has to be Xiaomi's Redmi Note 10 Pro. So another gold scored, and this time it's in the sound department, bringing our scores to 8-5. All right, so next category is battery and charging. The Redmi Note 10 Pro has a generous 5020 mAh battery and supports 33 watt fast charging. The Realme 8 Pro has a large 4500 mAh battery and supports 50 watt fast charging. The Redmi Note 10 Pro can fast charge from 0 to 50% in just 30 minutes. However, a full 100% charge will take 1 hour and 58 minutes. Now in comparison, the Realme 8 Pro supports 50 watt super dart charging, and you actually get a 65 watt charger included in the box. Now it takes only 17 minutes to fast charge from 0 to 50%, and a 100% charge takes only 47 minutes. So Realme's battery is only slightly smaller. It's 5020 versus 4500. Yet you have a much faster charging speed and technology from the Realme 8 Pro. So battery life from both, you can expect a good 1 to 2 days of usage with a pretty decent 7 to 8 hours of screen on time. So for battery and charging, I have to give this one to the Realme 8 Pro, especially after seeing that super dart charging in action. And this means that Realme Striker ran into the box in the 90th minute and managed to bang it in the back of the net, and the final whistle has gone. So there you have it, guys. That was my head-to-head comparison between the Redmi Note 10 Pro versus the Realme 8 Pro, covering everything from the box design, screen, specs, performance, cameras, and lots more. So very interesting results, and the winner is of course the Redmi Note 10 Pro. And at the time of shooting this video, I have no idea what the price of the Realme 8 Pro is. Based on my experience, I can predict the price to be between 149 to 199 pounds. Let's see how this prediction turns out. By now you guys should already know the price, but regardless of price, I compared these two phones entirely on their own merits, ignoring the value of the smartphones. And you can of course see the complete breakdown on the screen, so you can see exactly how they both scored throughout these tests. Now you can see that the Redmi Note 10 Pro achieved a point in nearly every single category. So those were the results, and it should be quite clear to you which smartphone is actually better regardless of the price. Now, don't get me wrong, the Realme 8 Pro is still an incredible budget smartphone with a mid-range performance. But when you compare it to something like the Redmi Note 10 Pro, you will find that it somehow lacks in certain areas. I've been using both phones, and I have to say they both do offer a great overall experience. It's quite amazing that you're able to play Call of Duty on very high settings. There is no overheating on either, and the mid-range performance that you're getting from both of these phones is good for any task you want to do. Furthermore, decent Full HD Plus displays, slim and light devices, big battery experiences, great for gaming, awesome cameras for photos, including the big 108 sensors. So what do you guys think? How do you guys score it? Do let me know in the comments. And with that being said, I hope you found this video useful. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you all have a brilliant day. I'll see you guys in the next one.